In my lap here, I have, let's try that again. In my hands, I have my top 10 most annotated books. I'm literally sweating. My hands hurt from holding these books. Let's talk about annotating and let's talk about my most annotated books. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lochlyn and this is my booktube. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how I annotate and my top 10 most annotated books. As I'm sitting here to film this video, I don't really know what I'm going to say because I tend to just wing it. I'm just going to talk to you guys about how my annotating has evolved throughout the years, how I started annotating, where I'm at now, and how I feel about it. For starters, I want to show you the difference between like how I used to annotate versus how my books look now. So this is like early on in my annotation journey, so to speak. My tabs here are kind of like sticking out pretty far. There's not that many tabs, so like I wasn't tabbing a ton, versus if I really love a book, which I really love this book, so don't take the lack of tabs as like a lack of love because I'm obsessed with this book. But for example, here is one of my most annotated books. Now this is like Picasso to me. If my house were to burn down, I would be taking my fan fiction binds and my most annotated books because there has just been so much love put into these books. These are books that I've likely reread more than one time. But yeah, let's just get into my top books I've annotated and then I'll show you guys like kind of what I do, how I annotate. Binding 13 is another very highly annotated book. A Court of Silver Flames. This one was actually gifted to me, annotated, and then I added to it, so it's just like massively annotated because like look at that. So Hannah's had her tabs and then I just like added on to that, and this book is like insanely freaking tabbed. I'll get into that one. Normal People, I've read this book 3 times, so this is extremely annotated and tabbed. All these books I'm obsessed with, okay? Daisy Jones and the Six. Oh my god, if you haven't read this, it's truly amazing. So this one, I kind of went with like the aesthetic of the book. I don't always do that because honestly, it's hard to find enough tabs to do that. We'll get into like the materials and stuff and the tabs that I use in just a minute. I just want to quickly run through them, like my top most annotated. Wall of Winnipeg and Me, my all-time favorite Mariana Zapata book ever. This is another one where like I went with the aesthetic of the book. Even though the book doesn't have purple or blue on the cover, I still went with those colors and I just really love how this turned out. Basically almost every page is annotated. And then this is a good example of like a book where I was annotating the hell out of it, but this ended up not being a 5-star for me, but that's okay. So I'll write in my books and do stuff like this. I like circle stuff, underline stuff. I, doodle. Here's an example of just like stuff that I doodle in my books. Honestly, doodling is one of my favorite things aside from like highlighting and underlining and tabbing. The reason I love annotating so much is because whenever you go to read the book again, that is literally like a reward because you're reading the book, you're reading one of your favorite books, but then you're also seeing everything that you wrote down, everything you highlighted, everything you reacted to the first time you read it. And that to me is so special. There is just nothing more special when you're reading a book and you're just like, wow, it takes you back to the time where you first read the book, or if it was a reread when you annotated. So here's another book that's highly annotated. This is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas, and she's my all-time favorite fantasy author. This book is just really, really annotated. I feel like my annotations have kind of developed, but honestly, for the most part, like I pretty much do the same thing that I've always done. It's just sometimes I'll add more elements, if that makes sense. And then Crescent City by, my battery is about to die. Crescent City is another really, really annotated book. I love this book with my whole heart. So I'll go through some of the annotations in that one. Okay, I put a new battery in. We're good to go. And then lastly, I have my Harry Potter series. Now, this series isn't the most tabbed, but it is the most like written in. The first time I read it, I used one color highlighter, and then whenever I reread, well, I've read the series I think 5 or 6 times now, and the first time I annotated, I don't remember what color. I didn't like keep track sometimes of what color I used, but I start to keep track of that now. So now, like, you can see there's like all these different kinds of colors in the book. I do like these little squiggly lines. Anyway, so I'll get into all of that. But yeah, that's my top 10 really like most annotated. I also have the Throne of Glass series that I'm currently going through annotating on my reread, but I didn't include it just because I have 2 other Sarah J. Maas series that are way more annotated than my Throne of Glass. Okay, so let's get into where I keep my annotation stuff. I have a whole thing that I'm going to show you guys, like my little, it's like almost like a bowl where I put all my pens and stuff. So I keep most of my annotations, like my overflow, in this bag. It had to turn into a bag just because like I have so much now that I couldn't just like put it anywhere. I have so many different types of tabs. I will show you my favorites and my least favorites. These are probably my least favorite, like the neon ones. I feel like this video is gonna be so chaotic. I've started to get more into like the aesthetic type tabs. I like these. The only thing about these is there's not enough of like the same color. So whenever I'm tabbing a book, I want to go hog wild. I want to tab everything that my heart desires. But if I use these, then I feel like I can't tab what I want to because I'm going to run out. And that's like the most, I hate that feeling, like when you're limited and you're tabbing. So like these I love. I love these tabs so much, like the dark colors. But I feel so limited whenever I'm using them. Also, these I will never use. Like, these are a sin. I don't like these. They came with the pack that like I bought the other ones, so I have them. But like I don't like those. Also I have like these little like emoji faces, stickers, stuff like that. I love using the emoji faces. I think that they're so cute. And they've started to get like really popular now. Like I've seen people use them and I heard that they like sold out. So hopefully, I mean, I'm not even close to running out, but hopefully if I ever run out, I can buy more because I heard that people were like having a hard time getting hold of them. Okay, so all these like beautiful tabs. So these tabs specifically, like the ones with all the different colors, but there's only like one of them, you know what I mean? Because like this one, there's only one of this. This one, there's only one of this like sheet. I'll call it a sheet. There's only one sheet of this. So sometimes if I want to make the annotations like aesthetic, if I want to match the tabs to the color of the cover, I will actually make my own like sheet of tabs. So I will pull off the little tabs and put them on a fresh sheet, if that makes sense. So I'll basically pick and choose the tab colors that I want in a whole new sheet. So I don't do this with every book. I do it with books that are not extremely long, just so that I don't run out of those tabs. I hope that makes sense. So 2 really good examples of what I'm talking about would be Daisy Jones and Normal People. These books are not super long, so I really just like took the liberty of making sure that the tabs matched the covers, and I'm just like really obsessed. Also, a lot of the times I do have a guide of what the colors mean, but I don't do that all the time. Sometimes I just tab by vibes, and then sometimes I can just memorize like what the color means. So in Normal People, I know that the light blue was Marianne and I think the dark gray was Connell. But the first time I read this book, I had highlighted with blue only. So I was one highlight that I was using and that was it. And then the second time I used like all these other colors. So I used green and gray, I think were like the next 2. And then I just added on to like the annotations that I had already done. So like, for example, when I first read this book, I just had the blue highlights, literally nothing else. I might have had like a couple notes, but then my reread, I went back, underlined, tabbed some more. And on my reread, I added pieces of washi tape 2 pages that I had annotated the first time. So it was like letting me know, okay, I really liked this the first time I read it, so I'm just going to add this washi tape. Now that only applies whenever I'm rereading, and I don't know if that makes any sense. I hope that it does. Like, the washi tape is just literally so that whenever I do go back and reread this book again, on my reread I'll be like, wow, the first time I read this, like that statement, whatever, I put a little washi tape to let myself know I love what's going on here. And then a lot of times, like, I'll just like doodle like that. Okay, and then here is The Long Way Home by Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This is the 3rd book in the Magnolia Park series, and I'll just show you. Whenever I first read this, I created this little tabbing system. And, you know, you can always add to it. So, like, you can pick your colors that you want to do. And you can always, like, go back. So, like, whenever I reread this, I added pink as a tab to know, like, it was my reread. So, if you can see that, like, this was my initial tabs and then my reread. Now, sometimes, like, if I don't have enough colors in the tapping system, I'll just add some as I'm reading it. I am not very anal about my tabbing. The only thing I'm anal about is the length. Like, I want them to all be the same length, you know, sticking out. But when it comes to like the colors, I just honestly, tabbing is for you. I feel like annotating has gotten to this point where like people, you know, want to make them so beautiful for like the internet and everything, and I get that. It's like literally an art at this point. It has become an art in and of itself. But honestly, at the end of the day, you don't have to feel pressured to make them aesthetically pleasing. The annotation at the end of the day is for you. And if you're annotating a book that you don't love, I don't see the point in it, because if you're not going to reread the book, which I see some people rereading books that they don't love, which to each their own. It could never be me. I would rather read books that like I love. And now let's get into some of the materials I like to use. I am pretty basic with my highlighters I like to use, the mild liners. I have gone through so many different brands of highlighters, and these are the ones that I go back to every time because I feel like they last longer than other highlighters I've purchased in the past. And although like you can use up a whole, if you use 1 or 2 highlighters the whole book, you might run out of it depending on how much you're highlighting. But when you're using so many different colors, it feels like they're like never run out. Also, these are really cool because I mean, I feel like everyone knows about these, so this is like nothing new, but they have the 2 different ends. So yeah, it has the bold end and then the thin end. And I just really like these because there's so many options. There's so many different colors. I get them off Amazon. Okay, and then these are the pens that I really love to use. You can see that I literally only have 2 left in this pack, so I'm gonna need to buy more. But these are actually really, really inexpensive and affordable. So it came with like a pack of 12. And these are the off-brand to, I don't know what the actual brand name is. This is what they look like. I like how fine they are. So like I used to like really thick pens because like I could underline and be super thick. But now I actually gravitate more towards the thin one. So this is 0.5. So it's pretty fine line. Fine line, okay. So yeah, these are my favorite pens and I will link them below. I also have more pens and stuff that I'm going to show you and like what I use them for. I just wanted to get through some of this first. This was like my first like note-taking notebook. And what I did was I basically put my guide. If you've watched my first annotation video I ever made, you'll have seen this before. So I put my guide in this notebook. And although I don't love like the flashy bright tabs anymore so much, I do still kind of love this guide. So like yellow is characters, green is scenery / world, blue is always going to be sad moments for me because like blue is equivalent to sad in my eyes. Purple is favorite quotes because it's one of my favorite colors. Pink is love, romance, relationship stuff. Orange is questions, foreshadowing. Green is important, pivotal moments. And then this like darker pink is amusing, funny. And then red is made me angry. And then this like light pink is miscellaneous. And honestly, this is like a great tabbing system to go to. So I'll give you a close-up. If you're new to tabbing, this is like a really great way to start your tabbing because there's like a color for everything, and anything that doesn't fit, you know, in those categories, you can put under miscellaneous. You can also make your own like system for each book. So like, you know, for normal people, Connell had his own color and then Marianne had her own color. I love doing that. I also did that for my Magnolia Park series, and it's just like a really fun way to kind of like customize the annotating. Okay, and then in this little box, I have all my washi tapes. I have more in my little like holder thing, so I'll show you that, but this is like my excess, so I just keep them in this box, and I really love these colors. They're just pretty basic, like nothing too flashy or fancy. And then there's also these, which are pretty cool, which I think I've only used these like a couple of times. They are basically like clear sticky notes, so you can write on them. If you don't want to write in your books, this is a great alternative. I'm going to start using these for books that if I'm reading them and I want to start annotating, I'll like use this. If I'm not sure if I'm going to love the book, I'll start using these. Because one thing that I think is really important whenever you're annotating in general, I still make this mistake, is if you're reading a book for the first time and you start writing in it immediately, and then 50 pages in, you hate the book and you want to DNF it, then you've written in the book and you have like essentially lowered the resale value. So you can't really like, you know, resell. I mean, you can, but it's just not going to be whatever. It kind of ruins the book a bit. So personally, I try to annotate books that if I know I'm going to reread them. I've gotten a lot better about that. I will start tabbing in a book if I am not sure. So like, for example, I started tabbing in Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez a couple of weeks ago. And I had only put like a couple tabs, but I ended up DNFing the book. So I'm going to remove the tabs and then like get rid of the book. But I didn't write in it, so it's fine. Because like tabs are removable, but like if you write in it, that's when it's permanent. So I do love writing my books. I know I've gotten hate comments in the past, people being like, oh my god, you ruined the book and you write in it and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, it's my book. Like, this is literally a piece of art and you cannot tell me anything differently. You're gonna tell me that this book is ruined because of like, it's basically been customized, you know what I mean? Like, when you go to reread the book, it's just going to be like the most epic experience. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is actually downstairs. So we are going to migrate down there. I'm going to take my TBR cart and move it downstairs, and we're going to do a little bit of like reorganizing for my annotation station. So grab some tea, we can sit down, I'll show you everything that I use to annotate, and it's just going to be a really fun, cozy time. Okay, so right now I am going to, there is toilet paper right there. I'm just going to take everything off my TBR cart, and you're going to see what I'm about to do in just a minute. I promise it has to do with annotating. I am going to move this downstairs. These are all the books that I put on my TBR cart forever ago, and they're still there because I forget about them. Okay, so I'm going to move this downstairs, and then we're going to fill it up with all my annotation stuff. Okay, so I don't know if you can really see all of this. I think so. Basically, downstairs I have like this really comfortable reading chair, and this is like my annotation station. So I want to migrate everything to this cart. I think it'll be really cute. But before I do that, I'll just show you everything that I have in here. So while I'm annotating, I used to have like a bag where I would put all of my pens and stuff, and I just found that it was like too messy and I would be like searching for things. So I kind of created this little, I don't know what you would call it. It's literally like a basket, but I made it into like, it's like a pen holder basket type thing. I have it decorated, and this is just like, I am so obsessed with this thing. It just like makes me so happy. So I have all of my highlighters in here. I even have like lip gloss because, you know, you don't want to be like a dry girly while you're annotating. I have like all my pens. I have like these pens, which I don't use as often. That's why they're like kind of in the back, but these are a Mr. pen. All of the pens and stuff I use do not bleed. The stuff I used to use would bleed, but I kind of transitioned to better materials or better pens. So I have like this little ruler thing. This is for like if I really want to get the line very straight. I normally just freehand it though. And then in here, in the back, I have all my extra tabs, at least the ones that are not overflow into the bag. So like I have these and then I have the bag full. So this is kind of like a hot mess, but this is what I mean whenever I say I take off the tabs. Like I have pulled from these sheets, these tabbing sheets, to make my own like custom stuff. So like that's why they're kind of like, this is like stuff that needs to get used up. But these right here are my new favorite tabs. These are amazing because I love the colors for one, and it comes with enough tabs to where I don't have to worry about running out. So like these colors, I just really love the colors that are here. And then look at that. That is beautiful, stunning. I love to see it. These are definitely my new favorite tabs, but I'm still trying to use up like all of the tabs that I do have, because I do have quite a bit. But it's crazy how you can still run out of a color even though you have a ton of tabs. These are just like not my favorite. So like I was buying these at one point, but there's not enough tabs and I just tend to run out. So I stopped using those, but I still need to use them up because I'm not gonna throw them away. So then I have like in here, I was telling you guys about my washi tapes. So like I have those little washi tapes and they just fit right in there. I don't know if you can see, but there's like more in there. And then I just throw them in there like that, and it's so cute. It fits perfect. And here I have stickers. I have like hearts and like the faces. I was telling y'all about the emojis. So I have like my emoji stickers. I usually have like a couple of bookmarks in here just for handiness, but I do have like a separate place where I put my bookmarks. This is more tabs that have just like run over. There's a few stickers in there. Like honestly, this is very chaotic, but it's kind of how I annotate. And then shit. And then I have this mug, which I think I got this from something print. I don't know. But it's just like a Harry Potter Sorcerer's Stone mug. And I have this little like keychain thing here just to decorate it. But yeah, these are all the gel pens that I use. And I use the gel pens basically to doodle. I will either like go over what I've already highlighted or like I'll do like a little doodle. But yeah, this is like really the love of my life. I love this thing so much. I kind of made, this is like not how I purchased these things. So like this is separate from this and it didn't really fit, but like I made it fit. I have my little Sailor Moon pins. This is just like the cutest thing. I will never go back to using like a little bag because I'm obsessed. Like I can literally just see the color I want, grab it, put it back. Now, one thing I do need to do is go through my highlighters and get rid of the ones that are dried out because so much of my highlighters dry out because of how much I annotate. I just love highlighting and I love doodling and it takes up a lot of ink. A lot of these are really dried out and I need to get new ones, but that's okay. Honestly, most of them are dried out. Like I'm looking at all these and I basically can remember which ones are dried out. The yellow is not too dried out, but like most of these are dried out and it's very sad. Even in the ones that I have in this bag, these also I need to go through because I basically don't have any new highlighters. These are all very old. But that's okay because we can always order more. So what I'm gonna do, if you can see this, basically move this onto here. Oh, I don't think I showed y'all, but this is like my little notebook, which I'm gonna start using a different notebook. I have more emoji stickers. I swear to God, these are like everywhere. I love them. I'm transitioning to a different notebook, but this is the notebook I started using last October. Shit. Okay. Anyway, I put my old like Kindle thing. This is how I used to have my Kindle decorated, so I just plopped it right on there like a little sticker. This notebook was gifted to me by my friend Devin. And Devin, if you're out there, which you're probably not watching this, but that's okay. I have used this notebook literally every day for the past, like, I don't know, it's almost used up, but I love this. So I'll use like my notes and stuff if I just have too much to say and I don't necessarily want to write directly in the book. Sometimes I'll do both though. So let me show you a good example. Wall of Winnipeg and Me. So on my Patreon, I'm going to do flip through videos of some of my most annotated books, but I'll just show you guys some stuff. So like, I do like circling, like it's just too much to go through in like in one video. If I were to show you guys all my annotations in these books, like we would be here forever. I use like these little, oh shoot, these are like sticky notes and I just tear them off and then I like tape them down with the washi tape. So yeah, if I have a lot to say, then I will do that. And I really like how this looks. And whenever I'm rereading, I can just like flip it up. You know, it's not a big deal. But yeah, it just makes it like really special. If I can get, I think the books are stuck. I didn't think this through. So yeah, this is a really special copy that was gifted to me by my friend Hannah. While I was reading it, I just felt like I was reading it with her. So it's like, there's like stickers and stuff. So if I love a whole page or like a whole scene, I won't necessarily highlight the whole scene, but I will like put these little, brackets, I guess is what you'd call that. So I like to do that. And basically what I did was I went over it with a highlighter and then I went over it with a glitter gel pen. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like sparkly. Anyway, I love that. So like I did it here like that. I love how the brackets look. I just think it's so pretty. Okay, and then sometimes I'll do like the little doodles here. So like your death, I don't know. If a certain word or phrase like calls out to me, I will doodle that phrase. Okay, here's another example. Lady Death, Nesta. And then one of my favorite things to do is like these little squiggly lines with the hearts. I love how this looks. I don't know, I just think that this is like so beautiful. And like some books are not going to get this annotated on your first time reading them. Like this book has been read 3 times now, I think. This book has been read twice now. So this is A Court in Fury. So like a lot of the time, like what I'm saying is it takes a lot of time to do annotations like this. But when you read it multiple times, that's whenever you get like, you just add on to what you already have, and that's what makes them so annotated. Here's a good example of the first time I read this, I did not annotate this. But the second time I did, and so you can kind of tell it's like, it's just not as annotated. I mean, I love this book so much, but it's just lighter on the annotations, which is fine. It's beautiful no matter what. So like I doodled to whatever end right there. And then again with like the brackets and stuff. Okay, so let's finish putting everything on my cart. So I always have my water bottle like right next to my little annotation station. I don't know what else to call it, and I think that's like a cute little term for it. Then I'll put my glitter pens. I need to put all my tabs back into here. I usually have some gum. My glasses. So these are like more tabs, and then this is a bookmark that I just recently got. So I'll put that there. I just have so many tabs, so I'm gonna put my glasses there too. And then I have these little headphones, so I'm gonna put those in there. And then this bag, like, I think I just might put it on the bottom. I don't know if I like that or not, if I'm gonna move it, I don't know. But basically this thing, I love this, but it's just, you know, I think that this is gonna be cuter. I think it's gonna like, you know, give me more space to annotate. Plus I can put books on here and stuff. So yeah, I think that this is really cute. I think I can lock the wheels. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. Yeah, there's definitely a way. Okay, yeah, so now the wheels are locked. Well, for the most part. Okay. So for the most part, the wheels are pretty locked. I think it's as good as it's gonna get. But yeah, that's how I think I'm going to do my my little reading station. I do eventually like want to start reading in my library, but it's also like where I get ready in the mornings. So I am in my library every day. I just don't actively read in there. I really should. I'm gonna put my notebook in here. I think that this is really cute. I'm vibing. I think it's so fun. I did decorate this in my TBR cart video, so if you want to go watch that, feel free. I'm gonna probably get another TBR cart to put my other books on that I took off of here. Either that or I'm gonna put my TBR books on like a separate bookshelf. I'm not really sure. I have like literally 200 unread books in my library, which isn't so bad. Like it could definitely be worse, but I do want to get it down. My goal is to have 100 unread books. I don't really want to have less than that, and I don't really want to have any more than that, but right now I'm at around 200. Hopefully by the end of this year, which I don't think that that's gonna happen. Thank you guys so much for coming with me on this journey, hearing me talk about annotations. I really am obsessed with annotating. Like it just makes the reading experience so much more special, especially if it is something that you've already read before, or if it's just something that is really impacting you and you just have a lot to, you know, react to, whatever. Annotating can be really special, but make sure that you don't pressure yourself. You don't have to make it artsy. You can literally just use a highlighter and a pen and just start there, and you know, or you can start with just tabbing. Like you don't have to do both. But yeah, this is just something that I really love to do. So if you made it this far into the video, you can leave your favorite color heart emoji. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.
You should come through tonight. I'm chilling on the west side. Call my homegirl, tell your best friend. Decide to on the low, no location. I don't want them seeing me getting faded. You should come through tonight.